I think we're in the midst of a culture war right now, Pat. We're in the midst of the reshaping and redefinition of the limits on our behavior. Who's going to set those limits? Who's got the right to set those limits? What the punishment for violating them is going to be. I mean, there used to be this implied agreement in America that everybody had their freedom, do what you want to do, just keep it to yourself. And that gave us what a lot of people call the establishment or the mainstream and a bunch of little subcultures. And the subcultures now who have been out there and been pretty private are all upset at having to be private, and they want to become public. And there clearly is a battle being waged for the American public and its mind and the American voter, both as a collective and as an individual. And I get fascinated to watch all this stuff shake down. Pat, the best way I can tell you what's happening is that for the first time since the early 70s, I think, those who are the believers in the traditional American values, but who never show up until it's election day, unless there is a bona fide leader like Reagan to make them feel okay to express their true thoughts. He's gone now, so again, we're back to the old silent majority days. These people are very much concerned about some of the values and the moral issues and the issues that are symbolized by the flag and by the NEA. And what's happening is these people are beginning to fight back. Obscenity in Florida now all of a sudden not being tolerated. Your ad that you ran in USA Today and the Washington Post was fascinating to me because I said, now this is interesting. Will this get a response? And it did. You've been called Hitler, you've been called Stalin-like, you've been called McCarthy-like. But look at what the NEA just did, Pat. The National Endowment for the Arts just rejected 4 so-called grants, just rejected them for controversial porn art. So it's working. I think the people of America who are shocked and a little bit repulsed at what they see, the counterculture rising up, ought to have great faith and great hope because there's plenty of evidence that people are willing to fight back and win. But I think one of the real reasons for the success of the show is the perception, and as you know, in politics, perception is oftentimes reality, the perception by real people that the primary disseminators of information in this country are shall we say, slanted to the left. Yeah. And here comes the first, and it's really the only national program on radio or TV that has a conservative bias to it, admittedly so, that they can latch onto. And I never thought that would be the reason. I thought for my success I was going to have to be a better broadcaster and sharper and faster and quicker, more informed and all that. I didn't bank on the fact that so much of the success would rely on the fact that I happen to be very fortunate in my timing. But the bottom line is the bottom line. As long as it's making money and it's not irresponsibly controversial, then nobody's going to have a problem with it. But in terms of respect, that would go back to what you say at the top of the show. I don't think I get any, but I'm not striving for it yet. I'm only up 2 years now on this national show. But people are still trying to figure out who I am. And so until they figure that out, there's always going to be this little curiosity. But one thing, Pat, and I'm sure this has happened to you, I mean, you know you ran for president. All you have to do is be a mainstream conservative. Immediately you're an extremist, you're a fanatic, you're a kook, you're a freak. And if you're not careful, you end up defending yourself against those kinds of charges. And that's what I try to avoid. And I think the best way to avoid it is to try to not cast yourself as a controversial figure by virtue of your behavior, in the way you conduct a program, but simply by let the substance of a discussion of the issues determine whether or not you're controversial. That's what I'm trying to stick to.
Well, you've done a great job, but listen.